Is it a lot more odd that the more episodes I see involving Panda, he becomes a lot more entertaining, but at the same time his development becomes a lot more relatable as each episode that he's a part of, or mainly that he's the main focus? What if you say that he's into way too many girls to the point that he can't make up his mind? That doesn't mean that the episodes themselves are really difficult to watch. I found this episode a lot more entertaining, and even though that its purpose of existing is mostly involving the manga that Panda read, but at the same time, since that this is yet another introduction of a character that only appears once next to Clifford, I'm going to assume that the writers of the show just really don't know what to do with characters after they make their debut. Panda is reading a manga called Summer Love. Well, he enjoys the romance into the story and is the perfect manga to read during the summer, since that he enjoys the summer season. And when he offers one of the employees to get another beverage, they say that they're all out because the last person who's drinking the last beverage is this girl, which Panda instantly falls in love with, just like Lucy. And as he fantasizes the girl of his dreams, he noticed that the girl just left without her phone. And the majority of this episode is mainly Panda returning the lost phone to the girl. Say all you want about what this episode is mainly about Panda reading the manga, and this episode is supposed to be taking inspirations from the manga, but at the same time, I really think that they really nailed the development and execution involving Panda. Even though this episode has a lot more stakes compared to the last episode I reviewed yesterday, I still think for what this episode did is mainly the fact that they're trying to make Panda a lot more redeemable while not making the same mistakes that he did in Panda's Date. I know I keep talking about that episode so many times, but if you look at these episodes, you can tell that they did a lot more effort compared to the episodes that they did in the 4 seasons. Even though there are some people who actually enjoyed the worst episodes, mainly Viral Video and Panda's Date, you can easily tell that the people who made these episodes are trying to learn from the mistakes while also giving Panda more likability. Even though that Panda isn't as likable as Grizz and Ice Bear, that doesn't mean that he is full-on unlikable. For every obstacle that he went through in order to retrieve the phone back to the girl that he loves the most, well, second being behind Lucy, you really can admire of what he's going through in order to not fail on this opportunity that comes in his way. And when it comes to the other opportunities they had in the past, it's understandable because he wasn't really good enough in order to impress anyone. But here, he's trying to make sure that he doesn't want the girl to leave without her phone, since that she's going to be leaving with the trains leaving at 6 o'clock. And when the Pelican took the phone away from Panda to a nearby island, this is where the episode actually becomes a lot more interesting. While Panda tries to take the phone away from the Pelican, we get to see the mad scientist who appeared in a Grizz episode a season or 2 ago. And let me just say that the fact that he met 2 bears and not Ice Bear, which I could be wrong about that, it's actually kind of unique to have him being recognized by one of the bears while also meeting a different bear instead of Grizz again, because he wants to do an experiment with Panda, all the while using the girl's phone for battery support so that he can have more electricity for the body swapping. But apparently, before any of that took full effect, Panda shouted that he needs to return the phone to the girl of his dreams out loud, which causes the mad scientist to stop on the project, because he also had the girl of his dreams, but apparently he never got what he wanted. His true love was Amelia, who was one of the scientists that he worked with, and they became friends afterwards. But apparently, Amelia became an astronaut upon being accepted, which causes the mad scientist to be, well, a huge mad scientist. To think that he actually stopped the experiment just because true love was mentioned out in the open, it really shows that the mad scientist is really just trying to not have anyone make the same mistake as he did. Granted, he didn't make a mistake whatsoever. It was mostly by poor luck when it comes to Amelia completely becoming a space astronaut. But considering that this actually foreshadows an episode where Lucy actually gets a boyfriend of her own, which completely heartbrokens Panda, I'm pretty sure if this episode actually involved Lucy and not the gore, then I'm pretty sure that this episode will probably be a lot more difficult to have Lucy be corroborated in a plot like this. And since I keep talking about the gore a lot, I'm gonna mention her name soon. After the mad scientist takes Panda out of the island and back to where he was, he thought he was late to catch the train where the girl was, but we get to see the girl face to face, and her name is Amanda. And this is the first time we get to see her face, but also the only time we get to see her face. Even though that it's only a minute of screen time and she only has a few lines in this episode, this shows to me that this show can actually make minor characters like Amanda really memorable, but a shame that she doesn't appear later on. Granted, she has to move in order to head back to where she lives, which explains on to why she's taking the train. But considering that she actually said to Panda that she hoped that if anyone finds her phone, it's Panda himself. Again. Not anyone else, as long as it's Panda again. I understand, again, that this episode is supposed to be based on the manga that Panda read, which is Summer Love, which is the title of this episode. But at the same time, even if it takes inspirations and the voice actors who is doing the narrating while Panda is reading the book is one of the voice actors who voiced anime in other projects, that doesn't mean that this episode isn't just for entertainment. I really think that they actually made Panda a lot more likable as the series continues. Say all you want, and the fact that I didn't review all the episodes involving Panda, but considering that he actually grows as a character when he's solo without Grizz and Ice Bear, it really shows that they actually wanted to have Panda do most of the obstacles by himself. I would discuss about the debates involving Panda's character in the show, but at the same time, the little I talk about the better, and there are only a few episodes involving Panda that I'm going to be talking about as this month continues. So I give this episode an 8 out of 10. Yes, I rate this episode higher than Lucy's brother. Really disappointed that Amanda doesn't appear ever again after this episode, considering that she's totally into pandas with the hat, backpack, and her phone, but I guess that we're just gonna have to rely on fanfiction, which, speaking of that, I think I'm completely hinting on what video I'm gonna be uploading involving Rebel Bells next month as part of Summerpalooza 3. But anyway, there's only 2 more weeks left to culminate this month, and there's only 9 reviews left. Well, technically 11, but the 2 episodes are gonna be in its own video to be discussed.
Let's get this started again. Me and my whole crew.